Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Track Guides. This week we've got a track guide at Sardegna A, I think this is, because on Jimmy's BTCC Championship, this is the next track that we're coming to. So I thought I'd do a little lap, show you my setup, and hopefully it might help somebody. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed Handy Pint's track guide from last week at the Nürburgring. It was awesome. But this week, this is what I have done. So I made a few changes from Brands Hatch. The main thing, if we head over, is the downforce. Both minimum settings on the front and rear really do seem to be beneficial at this track. More top end. This track's all about the straights. Changed my anti-roll slightly to get a bit of rotation because now basically the car doesn't turn very well. So just changed the anti-roll to get a little bit more rotation. And on the front compression, just upped it slightly because we've got quite a lot of hard stopping zones on this track. So I really don't like the nose diving into the turns. It really unsettles the car. So running a bit more damping on the front really does help that. So that is the settings. Now on to the important bit, the lap. So heading on to the lap, I've got my brake balance on neutral, zero, and doing everything that we talked about in the Brands Hatch video. As we come to start the lap, the first turn is just, it's horrible. It's really hard to get the braking point right, so you will have to adjust it a bit depending on the wind, because it can make a humongous difference to your top speed. But what you will be looking for is just before the 100 meter board is your reference, about now, just before the barrier on the right hand side has that little orange marker. That's when you want to be braking down from 6th gear all the way into 3rd for this one. Try not to touch this curb on the inside because it's death. And head up down into this lovely little section. I love this little chicane we've got here, and you're looking for the 50 meter board on your right hand side. Right next to it is your marker here for braking, and you want to do a nice trail braking. Knock it down into 4th gear. Try and not touch the grass. If you can just grab a tiny bit of curb, it helps you plod yourself around this bend. And if you can end up more on the left hand side of the track here, it really helps opening up the next turn. So don't go in here too deep. It's really beneficial to open up this next turn. Over here down into 3rd, don't go on the grass here like I did here. That does cost you time, but I just turned in a little bit too early. As we head up to this very difficult turn, right now you see on the left hand side underneath where it says Gran Turismo, you've got the barrier, and it just changes position from being really close to the track to being slightly set back. And just where that transition begins is my reference for braking. You're gonna brake, take this into 4th. You can knock it down into 3rd if you can't quite get the car turned in, but I prefer leaving it in 4th. And if you can kind of apex it late, and you see these orange men right in front of me on my screen, as soon as they are directly in front of me, that is my reference to get on the power. Again, it's really sketchy because you can't see what's coming along, so you can easily plough wide into the barrier, but those orange men are a really good reference. As soon as you see those in the centre of your screen starting to head to the right, that's when you know when you can get on the power, so that's awesome. All the way up onto this hill, just before the 100 meter board here, is when you want to be braking down into 6th, all the way down from 6th, into 2nd to get a bit of extra rotation. Leave that 2nd change right here, right at the end of your braking zone to really get that rotation in. Don't worry too much about hitting the apex perfectly as we exit the corner in 3rd, because it's all about the corner speed. If you really aim for the apex, you might carry a bit less speed and it's not as good. Straight line this section all the way to the left hand side just before this right hand bend, and as I start turning in, I gradually lift off the throttle, and to keep the car all the way close to this curbing on the right hand side, I'm fully off the throttle now. It makes the car nice and balanced as well before we head into this tricky left hand bend. And just as this curbing ends here is my reference to begin braking and to start turning in. You only want to be lightly braking here, no more than 50% braking force to get the car turned in. As you can see, as you having a lovely little line there. As soon as you're at the apex, you can get back on the throttle, use all the track, and stay in 5th gear, because you got a lot of rolling speed in 5th gear. The 100 meter board is your reference for this turn. This time you want to be completely on top of it or underneath it to be braking. Again, this one can change with the wind, so just be careful. All the way down into 2nd again for the rotation, but back up to 3rd for the exit. A little squirrely, but it's not too bad. And now it's just flat out all the way to the finish. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and we're going to cross the line for a mid 44, which is a pretty solid lap time. It does seem to make a difference running that low downforce, so if you haven't tried low downforce, please do check it out. So that is everything for this week's lap. Yeah, please do try the low downforce setting. It might feel a bit weird at first because the car really just doesn't want to turn in, but overall I think lap time wise it's beneficial. Not sure what it's going to do on tyre wear, but certainly you're going to have an easier time overtaking, which is always really important in a race, and people are going to struggle to overtake you, so I do think it's worth a go. And that is that really. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.